Welcome to the third window in the 2020 TooFatLardies Advent Calendar. I hope you're enjoying the festive treats behind each window, and today I'm asking Nick, if a magical wargaming fairy granted you one wish and provided you with a complete bundle for a whole new period with painted armies and a set of rules all ready to go, which period and which armies would you choose, Nick? Choose wisely, my friend. Choose wisely.
Well, hello. Here I am in the study, about to open my first window on the TooFatLardies Advent Calendar for this year. I've got an envelope to open with a question in it, so let me do that now. Ooh, put my mince pie down for a minute. Okay, what have we got in here? Nice little picture of a robin on a nice little winter twig. And a question, it says, if the Wargames fairy visited you and left a complete bundle of finished armies for both sides and a complete set of Lardy rules, what war would you want it to be for? What an interesting question. Gosh, let me think about what I've got here on the bookcase that would inspire me. I think actually it would have to, for me, I'd really want to game in a scale that I don't really have. I suppose because it's something completely new, completely different, and something that the fairy can totally satisfy my needs for. I assume that includes terrain and everything else that goes with that. So yeah, it would be a scale that I don't really have, and it would need to be for a period that would fascinate me. So what's the obvious gap in that for me? So for me, I'm going to think. I'm going to go for American Civil War, actually, as a period, which may be surprising. But it's one that I've always had a fascination with, and one that I've never really had any substantial figures for. I remember getting a few figures when I was, a lot younger, I don't know, 30 odd years ago. And I had some 15mm that I painted up from Essex. They were really, really nice, Essex miniatures. ACW, and we played some ACW games at a time at the local club. I can't remember what rules we were using for that. I wonder if we were using Principles of War, maybe. I can't remember anyway, but we had some quite good games, and it was always something that I thought, yeah, I might do some more of that. But then the prospect of getting big armies and painting big armies has always been something that's eluded me in terms of the time available to put into that. So I would go ACW, but I would probably go at a scale that I wouldn't normally go for, because this is all being done for me, and I would go for probably 6mm ACW. I would go ACW 6mm, and I would want impressive, well-based, beautiful looking armies that would enable me to fight some of the actions. I'd be really interested in some of the principally some of the early war actions. I guess I'd have to flex that army and ask the fairy to deliver early war and late war options for me. But there's a book I'm looking at now called Battles and Leaders of the Civil War, which was, I think, originally produced in about the 1880s. It was, let's just have a look. It says, being for the most part contributions by Union and Confederate officers, based upon the Century War series edited by Robert Underwood Johnston and Clarence Clough Buell of the editorial staff of Century magazine. Now this is, I've only got volume 1 of this series, but it's a fantastic little series of books, and I was given this book by a history teacher when I was still at school. I don't know, I was probably about 16, I think, and I remember being totally inspired by the contents of this book. It was, close set, black and white, lithographic printing of beautiful sketches of the actions that were taking place in the early war. This particular volume only covers Sumter to Shiloh, so it's really early in the war, but the sketches that are in it are fantastic. And I remember looking at those pictures and thinking, I would really, really love to be able to lay out a battlefield that looked like those pictures in that book. And I think actually the closest you could get to do that would be with a 6mm army, and there's no way on this planet that I could back myself to paint and buy and produce a good quality 6mm army for both Union and Confederate and do the terrain. It's really something I'd love to be able to do. I don't think I will ever do it. What rules will I use? I have no idea, so maybe the Fairy could also produce a fantastic set of rules. I might try to adapt Pickett's Charge by our dear friend Dave Brown to see the play of that, but actually if the Fairy could produce something, that would be fantastic. So yeah, for me I'd go for 6mm. I'd go for ACW because I just think the spectacle of a really big battle played out across, even an 8x6 table or a 6x4 would look fantastic, and very much in the flavour of some of those sketches that were in that book. So yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Fairy. If you could please arrange that for me and leave that under my tree on Christmas Eve, that would be fantastic, and I look forward to opening that and enjoying some fantastic games.
Remember, lard is for life and not just for Christmas.